I want you to understand some things. We've all got a past. We've all got now, we've also got a future. The only way to change your future is deal with your past now. Imagination is the most powerful thing you ever have. Your imagination is your unconscious mind. You have to respect your unconscious mind. You have to change your stories, and the pictures that you hold in your mind, you can change your life. That's how it works.
I've 115 pro fights, I've won 8 world titles, I've fought all over the world, I've fought pro boxing. My part, I'll just be teaching lots of different techniques I use when I'm training myself, when I'm fighting, techniques I've used over the years to help me win my world titles and get me to the level where I'm at today.
We've got Liam Harrison, 8-time world champion, one of the greatest ever, and probably the greatest Muay Thai fighter England's ever had. Liam's been a dear friend of mine for a long time, and he's also a client. So.
Vinny's work is amazing for fighters. I've used him myself on multiple times in many different fights. He's quite difficult to explain exactly what he does and how it works, but all I can say is the benefits for not only fighters, for just in general life are amazing. I remember one time I was fighting in Hong Kong. It was a massive fight, and I FaceTimed Vinny from Hong Kong, and I said, Vinny, I'm really nervous, and I never get nervous. I've had 115 pro fights, and I'm never really nervous, but I waffled this one fight. I FaceTimed him, we did a little mind session over FaceTime. 10 minutes later, nerves had gone, went out, enjoyed the fight, had an amazing fight, and it was a great experience.
But remember just 2 things. You control you, and you control your mind. That's it. Everything else is out of your control. Now when you get a lot of peace from that, everything else is out of your control. Understanding how you can control your imagination is the key to everything. If you can use your imagination strong enough, then that's why the levels he gets. Indulge yourself in it. What was in the past? We have a selective idea. No one remembers everything. Nobody. But we have a selective idea of what was here. But we have a selective memory. We have a selective idea. We put, that's what happened in my past, that's how I was, and I stay there. Because you trap yourself in this idea of who you are. You trap yourself in this belief, what you was told at school, what you might have been told by a parent or an unsavory person. We trap ourselves in that idea. Does that make sense? And it's only an idea. Remember, it's the stories that we tell ourselves and the pictures that we hold in our minds. Here's what we do. This is about compliance. It's about you understanding that you control your mind. If you control your imagination really, really well, then you can control anything. Today, I'm going to talk about what holds people back, whether it be the past or whether you feel what the future is going to hold for you. And some techniques and some stories, really, metaphors to help people understand where they're coming from or going to. Okay, so what we do is you put your hand out like that. Now turn your strongest arm to the ceiling, to turn your palm to the ceiling. Good. Now I want you to listen to me very, very carefully. Close your eyes. On your left wrist, I want you to imagine that I tie a really, really strong helium balloon, like as big as this building, you know. Imagine that being tied to your wrist now. And I want you to imagine on your other hand, on your strongest hand, that there's a bucket full of water. And that bucket starts getting filled with more and more water. As that gets filled with more and more water, it gets heavier and heavier and heavier. And on your left arm gets lighter and lighter. Use your imagination, because the more you use your imagination, it starts to pull your arm up. That's right. Starts to feel this balloon, to tie another one to your wrist there. The more that you start to put the water into the bucket, it'll start to get heavier and heavier and heavier. Now I know you're all strong, but that bucket will start to get real heavy. Starts to get really heavy, really, really heavy. That bucket gets heavier and heavier, and each subsequent breath that you take, the bucket gets heavier and heavier. It starts to get really, really heavy. Now focus on the balloon now, because you're all struggling, some of your faces there. Focus on the balloon. Focus on your arm getting lighter. It shows intelligence if you start to think about your balloon getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. That balloon getting lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. That's right. Gets lighter and lighter and lighter. Open your eyes. Notice how your arms have moved. So you notice how your arm gets heavy, yes? 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 Feel the power? Because it's imaginary. But so is the past. But I've got evidence. Yes, I believe so. And it's very upsetting, and I understand it. And some believe I had a terrible time in the past. I get it. I feel it, I understand. But a job as a client, job as a therapist is to don't go in it with you. Because if I go in it with you, I end up as debilitated as you. I never go with a client to the past and go, oh God, yeah, you're right, oh, it's fucking awful. No, I can't. So what we do is this. There was a time when you needed you. There was a time when you needed you. There was a time when you was just on your own. Because we're on our own with our own thoughts. We can share what we want, we can talk about what we want, but we still have to hold our own thoughts. We hold our own cult, if you will, right? So, a time where you may have been desperate, you may have been sad, you may have been lonely, or you may have been challenged in some way. You know what? We all have in some ways, okay? I want you to go, close your eyes. I want you to go back in time to that time when you needed you, when you needed someone. Now the good thing about going back in time and going back into this time now is you can give yourself information that you know now. I want you to go back in time to the time when you needed yourself and go and see you. Now what I want you to do is go back and see you and tell you what you actually achieve. Show them that you can drive. Show them that you can swim. Show them that your school results. Show them your children if you have them. Show that child your family. Show that child your triumphs. Show that child your belts. Show that child your boxing gloves. Show them your whatever you want to show them. And you know what? Because we're just going back in time in our imaginations, is go back in time and go and give yourself a hug. Or tell yourself it's going to be all right. Or give the information that what you have to go through, you go through and you're all right in the end. Because this is the only thing that holds us back. The idea that that still exists. No, it doesn't exist at all. It's an idea. It's a concept that we hold in our heads. So when we go back in time, give yourself some love. Give yourself some respect. And give yourself these things and say, look what you do. Because you have evidence now. You have evidence of what you're doing. Now you have evidence of who you are. You have evidence of what you're doing. You have evidence of where you've been and where you're going to. You have evidence. And I want you to present that evidence to you now. Give yourself a hug. And you know what? Open your eyes. Now you know why it works? Because I fucking do it. I always do it. I have a smaller version of me, and when I've been doing gymnastic rings. I've got a bad hip, you can probably tell the way I walk. I do gymnastic rings all the time, and I'm 50 years of age, and people say, wow, I can't believe you can do that. I believe I can do that is because I have a version of me that wants to see me do it. I'm answerable to that person, because when I speak to that person and that little person, that person that was ill all the time, that died twice, when it gets the information of what I'm doing, of how well I'm doing it, it stands up bigger. Then it starts to grow. You have to give yourself information. You go back in time and you say, yeah, but look what you do. So when you give that yourself information, you're eradicating things from the past that you may hold on to. It works without doubt. I don't do shit that doesn't work. I don't.